going to unmute myself. There we go. I'm unmuted. Hello. We are live, and I'm going to see if I can put some birdsong in the background. I didn't even think of that. I should find some random sparrow here. There we go. Hear that? Exactly. All right, welcome in. So I got to shout out a few people who showed up. Green Herring, thanks for the Prime sub. Greatly appreciated. Welcome in. Squid, you are early bird. And Shadow, welcome in. And Monster Mike, welcome in. Oh, enjoying local birds. Awesome. Cannot hear CB yet. Oh no. Do I need to do something? Let's see. Oh. Yeah, it's not showing up for me. Give me a second here. Guest star. I wonder. Oh, I think I know why. Okay. So give me a moment here. Yep. Yep. I think I know one thing I could do here. Sorry for the technical stuff, folks. We're going to... Okay, I need to change my display capture stuff a little bit here. Okay, say something, Kamal.
Tweet. You
guys hear?
Am I passing off as a bird? Yeah, of course I have no idea. Okay, there's some reaction.
There
yes. Apparently, I'm convincing. Awesome. Convincing bird.
So I'm gonna try something here where I'm gonna. Let me think. I just have to do one thing to alleviate possible double miking here, which is... Give me a second. Oh, I need sounds coming from there for this to work. Sorry again for the technical stuffs.
It's all part of the...
It's all part of the fun. Yeah. Where is... Oh, I see.
3 audio sources.
Yeah.
Each one at least 2 or 3 times, so...
What I need to do is basically turn off that browser only one so that when I bring it back to the fore, we don't hear anything from it. Okay, good. So you guys should still hear CB. Let us know if you can hear him. And let me know if this lines up. It's not very loud. We need a loud bird. What's a good loud bird? Blue jay. You say something, Kamal, we'll make sure you're audible. Oh, I can't hear Kamal right now.
Okay, wait. I was muted.
You were muted.
Just to keep you on your toes, I muted myself.
Like, wait a minute.
How's that?
How's that, people?
Okay, look, if this isn't enough CB yammering...
Oh, the chat's in a weird spot.
I don't know what more you want, really.
Why is chat there? Oh, weird. Give me a second. The chat is being weird.
The chat's being weird. Well, what else is new? Have you met these people before, Rob?
40, 640. Let's try that.
I think I muted my mic. I was going to drink coffee, and then I forgot to unmute my mic. I'm good about that during work meetings, but
there we go.
This is a whole different thing. So I started saying hello to people in chat, and then I decided I shouldn't try and do two whole things at once.
Yeah. Oh,
good evening, Monster Mike. Hi, Layla. Hello, I am Allie.
Hey, welcome in Pocket Theremin and Rumpelstiltskin. Winter Storm. Wow, lots of people here.
I recognize at least 2 or 3 of these people.
That's a good number.
It's pretty good.
I guess just to do a quick opening up here so we don't run too much at a time, I'll give you, let's say, 60 seconds or even 30 to 60 seconds. Describe your channel for those who might not know it. You're on Twitch?
It's CaliforniaBirbs. We show burbs from California. Boom.
There you go.
We're done.
Done. That was
there
quick.
It is. It's right behind me. It's that. This is it.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay. There. Done.
You're watching it right now.
Onto the topic at hand.
Yeah, so I'm Rob. I'm Songbirder. I do a mix of birding stuff and some retro games, and that's it for the most part. One of the things I'm doing soon, like I produce a podcast called Songbirding where I record it entirely out in the field, and next week will be the first time I'll really have traveled very far to do some recordings. I'm going to the West Coast, or not coast. I'm going to the Rockies. I keep saying West Coast as if it's the coast. It's not. It's out west. It's the Rockies. It's near Banff. I'm going to encounter some Western birds. I invited CaliforniaBirbs here because, hey, there's some of these birbs will be ones that are on a stream sometimes, maybe local to you as well, too. We have some overlap species, and I thought it'd be fun to kind of go through what some of their songs and what these birds are like and all that. We can both learn some new songs, new stuff, new things, etc. And let me just take a look and see if there's any questions we want to see. What is this madness? Well, you'll see, I guess.
Is that a question? It's kind of rhetorical.
Exactly.
CB, madness, yeah.
Yeah,
okay,
exactly.
Moving on, right?
Moving on. So last time we talked a bit about the white-throated sparrow.
And wait, I have a topic from last time.
Yes,
a
go
review
ahead. Yeah,
from last time. It's something I thought about, and then I swear 2 or 3 different people mentioned this to me.
Oh, nice.
They said that they would like to be able to see on the screen while we're watching the bird song a picture of the bird.
Yeah. Okay.
All part of the tying it in. So I challenge you. Can you make it happen? Can you get a picture of that bird on the screen?
Possibly. Let me
even if not simultaneously. Let's look at the bird and then listen.
Give me a minute here just to make a new OBS source and see if I can do window of Safari there.
It's going to be great, but it's going to ruin the whole stream audio.
World, it's birds of the world.
Stick figure bird drawings, totally.
Birds of the world. All right, so I've got this new source, but I got to make it tiny here, right? It's taken over the entire stream, so people are seeing this.
Oh, I don't see anything.
Yeah, I know you don't see it.
I'm just looking at your eBird screen.
Yeah. So what I'm going to do is make a little tiny corner thing, maybe over here for now, and we'll try to put the bird that we are looking at in that tiny little window as well. Just remind me, and we'll try to put a full view on there. So basically what I've done is open the second browser window and have added it as a source, and so we can take a look there. So last week we looked at the white crowned sparrow. So WCPA is our you'll remember is our banding code, secret bird code. So let's look at the white sparrow, white crowned sparrow. So let's see if I can see. There's the other browser window, and then this, and we can go now take a listen to this bird. Interesting variation there. I haven't heard that one before. I think we talked about this last time. This was a Colorado one that didn't sound like what we were used to.
It's not too far from the sparrow sound that I'm used to. Now, see, we're not in sparrow season, so...
Yeah. This is what I'm used to. Does that sound familiar to you, or is that too Eastern, you think?
There's a lot of chatter in there that I don't recognize, but certainly the
main song.
You know, here we are back to this topic. I don't know how to describe it. Would can I use the word buzz? What would you say? How would you describe that bird's call?
Got a little bit of buzz to it. See there, this one's California.
Note.
Yep. This one's in California. It's got these pew-pews at the end.
Yeah, and that's I'm used to the sparrows not having such a complex song as the other sample that you played, so that makes some sense to me.
So here's in the California. Interesting. So this might be the type of thing I encountered in Alberta. I think we started talking about this and got distracted is what happened last time.
So for those who weren't with us last time, the something I've noticed is that Rob is focused on listening to the minute differences between regional white-crowned sparrows in the east or in the west or the north. Whereas for me, it's really all about how can I identify that is even a white-crowned sparrow sound. So
Yeah.
learning from Rob last week, very useful for me, really, was just the idea of trying to assign a word to it.
So there's like a single long note that's common between east and west, as far as I can tell. So it's like that e for a moment. Then we go buzzy, right? Sound like we're going buzzy next. And then pew pew pew, lasers.
Yeah, so the first two segments, so there's like the long note, then the buzz, and then the lasers. That's the word we're going to use to describe it. The first two parts are quite recognizable to me, as you know, I hear that all the time, but not so much the lasers. I'd be surprised to hear a sparrow sound like that.
So this one's San Francisco. So someone found a novel singer out there, maybe. Okay, this one's Washington State. There's another one coming up at the end here.
And I like laserbird as the technical term. So that works. I mean, you know, as silly as it might be, if I can remember that, if I can pin that in my head that sparrows have got a laserbird sound.
Well, here's a nice loud one.
And I hear the lasers.
That one was Oregon. Oh, some people talking.
Nowhere.
How's that compared to what you're used to hearing?
See that? Play that at that last chunk again, because there it is. It's all, or I can just see it more than I can hear it. There's the note, then the buzz, then the lasers.
We got the note. We got a little bit going on here, but we don't really hear it very much because we hear this buzz is what we end up hearing. And then we got the lasers. The pew pew pews. So if I let's see if we can find one that's because this site you can do filtering.
Sparrow on the screen. We do. All right, I'm satisfied.
If I go to like Banff and see if there's recordings around there, for example. Yeah, there we go. Show results. Let's see what we get there. It's a little different. That's different from both of the ones we were listening to. So it's like
this look though, and again, I wouldn't be able to tell you this by listening to it. To me, that's like, oh yeah, we listened to some other sound 10 seconds ago. That's out of my brain. I can't compare it to this sound. But looking at it, I can recognize the picture we looked at a minute ago.
Exactly.
The note, and then the two weird things, and then the buzz, and then the lasers.
Yeah, in this case, it's kind of like it's the beep or, you know, the single note, then kind of lasers, then buzz. So we're out of order here a little bit. So it's like there's components. It's almost like a little lilt going on there, kind of thing. Da-da-da-da. So that's interesting. And that's in Canmore, which is where I'm going to be. Let's see another one from that. This is a nice clear recording, by the way. Raphael Nussbaumer. Recorded... don't have a date. So let's look back at what that looks like. Again, we are a long... So maybe if we're thinking about what's common in the species, it's going to be the long note and the buzz are going to be somewhere. And maybe there's something in between the two. Maybe not. Maybe it's after. Okay, so I'd like to look at the golden crown now because
yeah, absolutely. I want to see.
I want to know what's going on with them because I just don't have them locally at all, so I have no idea. So,
really?
Golden
you
crown.
Have white but not golden?
No, it's considered a rare bird around here. I think I know of one that once showed up and I didn't get a chance to see it.
See here, it's the opposite, and I don't want to say white crown are rare, but certainly the gold crown have been more common.
Around here, we get white crown a lot, but yeah, golden crown, no. So let's bring up the song for that, and we'll see if we can find some strong signals here. Oh, these are the ones from Banff, so let's start with that. That's the one we were testing on earlier. I now remember that. So I want to get rid of Banff out of here because we want to hear maybe some stronger recordings. It sounds like it's a quieter bird. Is that? This one's Washington, the Watauach River Valley.
I would say that the gold crown is a quieter bird.
So I think I know why too. It's like a very thin, like it's only on one line here for the most part, right? It's got this little
so this
glissando.
sound, that thing we just heard, that series of notes,
Yeah.
that is one of the few bird calls that I've managed to memorize. And the way I've done it, it's not good, it's not useful, but I can imagine them saying golden crown.
That's perfect. So
I can't sing it right, but anyway, the problem with it is I could also say acorn woodpecker.
Yeah.
So that doesn't help really.
Well, in one way it does. A woodpecker never makes that sound.
Well, no, but you see my point.
No, I know what you mean. So
Right.
It's interesting. I've started shifting to this in the podcast sometimes when I do talk about mnemonics in it, where I believe you do not get common yellow throat there. Would that be correct to say? So they have this song that's very recognizable everywhere because they kind of go Wichita, 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 Wichita. Like that. That's their rhythm. Very reproducible in most regions. There might be variations that some people would say Wichity instead, but it's actually not really about like the sound that a human voice makes when you say Wichity, Wichity, or Wichita, Wichita. It doesn't really matter because it's all notes. But I came to sometimes saying yellow throat, yellow throat, yellow throat. Because then you just have the, it doesn't have the mnemonic, could just be a rhythmic mnemonic, right? Right number of syllables.
And so I guess that's what I've done here is I've just made up an arbitrary rhythmic mnemonic to go with golden crown because I can cram those words in there.
Yeah.
But like I said, I've more than once I've thought to myself, now wait, what bird is it? And I sing that song with various bird names.
Yep. Exactly.
It may or may not be the right one.
So in the chat, Monster Mike said he does that with Eastern Woodpooey, which is like the hey guys, which is interesting because that one's it's actually got an onomatopoeic name, Pee-wee. Pee-wee? So the name's Pee-wee or Po-wee, and it goes Poo-wee, Pee-wee, but Monster Mike is saying, hey guys, like that works too.
Sure, but how does that help me remember which bird it is? And that's like I said,
it's whatever works for you, just like Green Herring says here.
Right. Well, that's my problem. None of these things work. None of these things have been wildly successful.
Sounds like gold crown's working for you, though.
So I will say though that, like I said, the thing that I lock onto, and this is the reason I was fascinated with your stream the first time I saw it, is being able to look at these spectrograms.
Yeah.
So, even maybe this is something I could do. Start when I'm using my eBird app.
Yes.
To try and idea it. Look at the spectrogram. Try to make my own guess first before pressing the submit button.
So the Merlin app,
based on pictures that I've seen.
So if in chat you're unfamiliar with Merlin, there should be an exclamation point Merlin command that you can use to get a link to that. One bird this reminds me as well of is white-throated sparrows. Do you get those there?
No.
No? Okay. So.
Oh, I should say I don't get them here at my house.
Yeah. So they have a longer song, but it's just as whistly.
The only sparrows we have here on the regular are the white crown and the gold crown. I think Green Herring said there was a fox sparrow here once.
Oh, right. Yeah, you would get fox sparrow around there. So there's a typical white-throated sparrow kind of song.
That's not too far from the gold crown.
So here's one thing that's different right away to me is it's going up. in pitch. The other's going
Right.
down in pitch.
Right.
And this is consistent with white-throated sparrows. Now in Canada, we use the mnemonic "Oh Canada, Canada, Canada" for the song. And in the U.S., you use old Sam Peabody, Peabody, Peabody for the song.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, none of these mnemonics are useful to
Yeah,
me
it
because they don't
depends.
say the name of the bird.
They're very
So-
hit and miss for me, which is why I've started using alternate ones when kind of trying to teach it and so on. So white throat isn't something I'll be having to worry about too much. So I'm going to see if I can pull up another.
So it's interesting that those sparrows do not look or sound like the white-crowned sparrow
Yeah.
that we found so interesting at the start. And again, to me, it's so much easier to notice what it looks like and what they the differences in what they look like than in what they sound like.
Definitely. I would agree with that on like, I guess I would agree with that on ones that you get to see is kind of the key point. Like the peewee that was mentioned in chat, that's a bird you rarely see but always hear, because it tends to be up in the canopy, so you don't get a chance to see it very often. Much like vireos around here as well are like that. I'm going to bring up here the spotted towhee, because you get that out west, right?
There's a bird we know.
Yeah.
That's good. And this is one that's got a impressive song for such a
So you know this
lurker
one
bird.
then. This is a Colorado one. Does that sound similar to yours?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
they make there's a lot of noise there.
So do you know the mnemonic? Because this one's a very infamous mnemonic for Eastern towhee, which is the one we get locally here.
Oh, is it something to drink your tea?
Yes.
Something about
See,
drink your
there's
tea?
one
So,
everybody
see,
knows. Everyone knows
And
that.
and because it's a good one.
Yeah.
Because it's about tea. It's got the tea part in it. And so tohi sounds like tea to
Yeah.
me, anyway.
I think this is like true that like they have also this call that goes either, depending on how you process language in your brain, I've seen it written down both as shawink or as tohi, which is the name. It's got that call sometimes it goes shwink, chui, could be either that you could use. But like the song is the drink your tea, which is a lot more elaborate. Now the spotted, this is the one I don't know terribly well. Sometimes we get Eastern towhees making something similar to this song though, but not like this is more extreme.
Where was this recorded?
This is
I
Colorado,
can see this.
Moffat
Colorado.
County. Oh, Hamilton, which is, yeah, I'm in Hamilton now, just a different one. It's like a, it's almost
See,
like
that
a chop,
that
chop,
last
chop.
one,
Yeah,
whether there's quite complex, there's multiple segments.
Yeah.
That is what I'm used to hearing.
so they got a couple different variations, it seems
Like
like.
when I hear all that, it's like, oh, okay,
Yeah,
Fancy Bird is out there.
so this one's making several songs. So it's making that one. So these are complex birds. They're cranking out multiple songs in the same recording. It's probably one individual too.
I think that's what struck me about them. It's like, when I hear that outside, it's like, what is making all that interesting racket?
Yeah.
So let's break that apart.
Yeah.
What are we going to call those segments?
Ooh, there's a question. Let's see. Scroll back. See, I like this being like kind of like chup chup kind of calls, and they're
Okay.
not ticks. I don't know what they.
No, but yeah, it is. It's more. There's more weight to it.
Yeah, they're chups.
I like chup 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 and then
Yeah.
lasers.
Yeah, chup chups and buzzy laser.
Okay, so I'm gonna call this the chup chup laser bird. Okay, spotted towhee. Henceforth, shall be known as the California
Chup chup
chup
laser.
chup laser bird. All right.
You've heard it here.
Next year, check your bird books.
Yeah.
That's what it's gonna say.
Etymology will be right back here. Okay, this is a neat bird. You know what's neat? This recordist, it looks like they've annotated the recording, and you know how I can tell? Look right here. Look at how messy this cell is. This has got to be human voice of some kind.
Oh,
That's my prediction.
They chop them out, or what is it? Was it?
I think this is an annotation, like the recordist saying
I see.
where
Can
they
we
are,
listen to
what
it?
happened, yada yada. So let's see if I'm right. This is going to be quizzing myself.
15 June 2023, 0656 Mountain Daylight Time. Off of Highway 317, east of Hamilton, Colorado. Spotted towhee. Sennheiser ME62 microphone, 24-inch parabola, Zoom F3 recorder.
ASMR is green herring sound.
Totally green herring. Absolutely. We got your ASMR right here. We're just gonna, the ASMR is gonna be us playing this person's annotations.
Yep.
While we listen carefully.
And do you know why they have to be so quiet when doing this? Like why he has to whisper?
Is he trying not to disturb birds?
Not just that, but
the mic is cranked up so high.
Yeah, the mic is cranked up super high. Probably could probably peak the recording to make it unlistenable to what he's saying if he spoke normally. That's
why you sound like this, Rob, all the time. This is it. Now,
the first set of recordings I did were with high gain mics, and I had to be quiet. Otherwise, it would just be blah, it'd just be like all over the place. You couldn't hear a thing except for me.
Yeah, bring your mics over to me, Rob. I'll blow those mic elements out.
Well,
in about 2 seconds.
yeah, and also what it was is I changed styles. So there's a couple different styles of mics for those who are interested in this kind of stuff. Like a couple different styles of mics you can use out there, and that's like the omnidirectional versus the directional kind of thing. Where with the omnis, like you tend to have to crank them way up in order to get that full sound around you. That distant bird that may sound loud to your ear is still going to be quiet to an omnidirectional mic. But if you have a directional mic, you have a much better chance of being able to just crank that bird up, and you maybe standing behind the mic can talk and be perfectly not too loud. But once you have those omnis on, they listen in all directions, and you can't say or do anything without interfering the recording in some way. So that's a little bit of bird recording trivia, I guess. Let's see. So
can you guys from CaliforniaBirbs, can you imagine the horror if Rob were to see my plastic flower pot microphone housing? I could give Rob a heart attack just looking at it.
Well, yeah, and you also have other things to deal with, though. You've got the running water, right? So you can't be too loud, or it's just like all running water, right?
I have issues with that.
Yeah.
So. All right. So, are you going to see a spotted towhee? Is it likely? Is it unlikely?
You know what? Let's show people how we figure that out. So we're on eBird.org. You can go here and you can just go to the Explore tab, for example, and then go down. You type in the species. Let's go spotted towhee. Actually, what's even better? Instead of Explore species, Explore region. Go to Banff, where I'm going. Banff, Alberta. All right. And what you do is you go down and you find this thing. Where is it here? There is a thing called... want to go to... Is it regional navigation? Yeah, there we go. Illustrated checklist is what you want. It'll be easier to see when you're not making your browser super tiny like I am. And I know it's a little cut off on the stream here because I'm trying to have it focus a bit better, but hopefully it's enough that people can see what we're looking at. So if I do a search for spotted, I can spell right. That's spotted sandpiper. Spotted towhee. So we got this little bar across here. You can see that, right, Camille? Mm-hmm. So you'll notice here the frequency, how often this is seen. So this one's on the lesser likelihood side. So I was wrong about that. Now, why is going to be one of the questions. Because it's possible that they are common out there and people just aren't seeing them. They're hearing them and don't know what they are. Or its frequency is just so incredibly low, it just barely is a pip on here. So look at this, like next week, which is kind of in this. So eBird uses this like quarter month bar thing, sort of. They do it as like 4 weeks in a month, except the last week of the month is like the rest of the days of the month. It's kind of a strange statistical format. It's very unique. But you'll notice here week number 3, which is when I'm going, frequency 0.1%. Means it's possible, but it'll be interesting to see whether it happens.
Even when it's most busy, during its most present time of year, that's still not a very high frequency.
Yeah, 1%.
And that, so that matches spotted towhee right there, right? It's not like that's a bird that, even though we know it's here, it's not something we see every single day.
Yeah.
So
it's interesting. He's green-tailed towhee shows up a couple times here too, which is a species I don't know much about. It's all the way down the coast of BC, and surprised even though it changed in the mountains.
So while you're on this screen right here, can you press whatever button would make it sort by what's most common?
Ooh.
What are the most common
birds? Is there a thing like that?
See here.
I think.
Or during this time.
I think I have to go back here. See? High counts. Oh yeah, the most likely to be seen. That is a. Let me just do a thing here to make this look more like it usually does. It's going to look tiny to people for a bit. There is a section kind of for that, which is the target species. Maybe.
I guess I'm thinking along the lines of, come on, you're not going to see a spotted towhee.
Yeah,
how long are you going to be there?
Yeah, here we go.
You aren't going to see no spotted towhee.
So because my Banff County life list is one species right now, from a photo I took in 2008, I think. It's probably the Clark's nutcracker. That's the only bird that isn't going to be on this list here, but it's probably a very high frequency because those things were everywhere there. It looks like my most common...
This is sorted by frequency.
Yep, and let's make this bigger for people.
So common raven, super commonly spotted bird.
Yeah.
All right.
50% chance of getting that on an eBird list. That is ridiculously high for an eBird list, because eBird lists, you think, oh, that's not that high, it's 50-50 chance. That's really high for eBird. So, because you got to remember, some eBird lists are sometimes incidental, where it's just like I'm standing here right now and whatever I see in this 1 minute that I'm writing it down, and there just happens to not be a raven there, that doesn't get included. Or maybe you're there for 5 minutes.
This is all believable.
Yeah.
This is all it makes sense that robin, dark-eyed junco, these are going to be the super common birds that people see all the time.
Leela mentioned the Bird's Eye app, which is good too.
What's that?
Leela in chat has mentioned the Bird's Eye app, which pulls from this and organizes it into a list apparently. So that's cool.
Bird's Eye. Okay, it's a phone app, I assume. So,
yeah.
All right, I'm gonna have to. I'll check that out.
So sorry, I interrupted you there.
No, I'm, because what? I'm babbling about something. Anyway, to me, it's like, okay, if I was going to go to Banff, if I was on my way, the thing that jumps out at me is the first bird on the list that is not one that I have around my home.
Yep.
Mountain chickadee, and then black-billed magpie. So how does that go for you? Like, what's the first bird here
Mountain
that
chickadee
you don't
and
have?
then black-billed magpie we do not get locally.
Okay.
So we are similar in that regard. Now, around here, common raven, if it was 10 years ago, imagine it was 2013, common raven would be the first one on my list, even if I was a birder, because they were rare here until recently. Now they've kind of fanned into the region and just taken over. So it's not going to be 50% around here. It's probably more like 10, 5, maybe less than 5, actually. For me, it's more like, 10, 20. But amongst all people, it probably is like 2 or 3% now that I think about it. But yeah, that's how much things can change in 10 years sometimes. But yeah, robin, dark-eyed junco, both. Robin is common here year-round, but dark-eyed junco is just winter for us in southern Ontario because they go elsewhere for their breeding. But yeah, so these are the two kind of first. Black-billed won't be a lifer for me because I've seen them in Calgary. They're a dime a dozen in Calgary and in Winnipeg and any city in the West, really. I think I've seen them in Vancouver too. Mountain would be completely new to me though. And then the next one on the list after all that Actually, I have to go down a fair
pine
bit.
siskin, that's not something I see on the regular.
Yeah, see, we get them occasionally here. They're eruptive. That eruptive, eruptive species. So some winters we get them. Also, fun fact about the pine siskin, they sometimes will come here for the winter and then breed and then go north. So, like most species, you think of them coming to their wintering grounds and then going back for breeding. They actually are species that will go to their wintering grounds, sometimes breed in those wintering grounds, then go north with their young to feed. So they're very interesting and different. Yeah. So Leela mentioned the magpies are so smart.
Let's listen to a bird that.
Yeah.
You know, looking down the list, the one that you're hoping to see that is realistic.
Realistic one I'm hoping to see. See, part of the problem with this is this life list is year round. So let's go July. This was an important thing I missed. That was a year round list. So now we're getting into robins are top. Ravens are down here. So let's go through the list of what's common in July. So mountain chickadee is definitely one I have not spent any time with. So let's first take a look. They're like blackcap, except they have a white stripe. That's the first thing that stands out.
I do not know my chickadees.
So, yeah, I don't know much beyond the blackcap and Carolina, which aren't even distinguishable.
You know, I'd take one look at that and say white crowned sparrow. So.
Oh, okay. Let's go down and listen to this bird. So it's very similar. This is in Sierra, California. They seem very, like, cut off at the beginning. It's almost like they're doing syncopation.
Yeah, I would say it's very staccato.
Yeah, staccato and syncopation.
None of their notes fade out. They stop.
So they're not the cheeseburger bird of the blackcap. Have you heard that term?
I've heard the term, but like I said, it doesn't mean anything to me. I don't, cheeseburger. Cheeseburger.
Yeah, exactly.
Cheeseburger.
Like
I don't know.
Exactly. This one's doing a very syncopated cheeseburger, maybe.
Okay, so is the cheeseburger call, the blackcap, sound similar to that, but without that little extra bit at the beginning?
It is a bit different. So let's see. I see.
Compare. And now you've got pictures of these on the stream too, right?
Yeah,
if you don't,
I forgot
I'm
to
yell
get
at
that.
you.
So we're gonna pull up the. What did I do here? There we go. Mountain chickadee. And bring that up on the stream so people can see that photo. These are the technical direction stuff I'm going to have to learn. Black-capped chickadee. So black-capped, very similar, just not the white stripe on it.
I see. And the white stripe was the mountain chickadee.
Yeah, mountain chickadee.
Is that right?
And there's a bit of difference with the sides. I think this, like, buffy side is a difference as well, but... So let's listen to that. This is the one people say says cheeseburger. Ooh, changing it up. So you notice the one thing I noticed right away here is you'll notice there's an additional overtone on that second note there that isn't present on this one. So there's one overtone each for these, and there's a second on this one. I wonder what that's about.
Well, I guess I'm suspicious about that, that it's at the very, very high
maybe the others like
range there.
Cut off.
Is it just outside the range of the microphone? It
might be just outside the range of the spectrogram, because the spectrograms do cut off at 10,000 here, it looks like. So maybe they just made a choice in eBird not to show anything above 10. Which is a reasonable choice. Most people aren't going to be hearing much up there.
So I mean, when I look at spectrograms like this of any audio source, I would tend to describe those as harmonics.
Yes.
But I don't know if that's what they really are in the bird situation. Are they just whole different notes?
Yes, they are harmonic. So I've heard these described by, I forgot his name, and I just listened to the podcast. The guy who does the music of birds, I think it's called Music of Nature. And he actually, his podcast episode was mentioned last week. The whole hearing loss one. What I didn't know about him, and I'm struggling with the name right now. I may just have to do a little bit of Googling here. The music, I don't know why my brain is... Lang Elliott is a very distinct name. Lang Elliott. He actually has a hearing loss. And as a birdsong recordist, he actually can't hear above like 3 kilohertz or so, which is really bad, like high frequency hearing loss. But he has spent a lot of time in his life creating tools and ways to listen to birdsong, which include an app he just came out with called Hear the Birds Again, I think it's called. I think that's what it's called. Yeah, Hear Birds Again. It's a new app, and it's meant to replace a physical device he used to have made. I mentioned that last time. There used to be kind of a hearing aid device that was made for people who want to hear birds that they can't hear anymore. And they were very, like, clunky, expensive to make, and awkward and all that, but, like, they worked. But now with smartphone technology, it's just much easier if you get a pair of wired headphones that have a mic in them, and then plug it into your iPhone and have it play back to you everything with the tones lowered, which is what their app does. And it's free too, so that's a pretty neat thing. But he said, that's basically their replacement now, and it's completely free because he's not looking to make money necessarily off it, just wants more people to be able to hear birds. But I do remember him mentioning harmonics. So if Lang Elliott calls it harmonics, I'm fine with calling it harmonics. I would say,
okay,
because he's had a lifetime of recording. He was born in the 40s, and I think he said it was when he was 5 or 6 or 7 or something like that. He had a firecracker go off near his ear. Which is what happened. He was playing with firecrackers as a kid and lost his hearing. Lost his hearing completely for a while, and then it came back with just the lower frequencies. Right.
Well, most of us will have some significant reduction in high frequency hearing when we reach a certain age.
Or spend too much time at loud concerts. Loud headphones. I suppose
that's true too.
That can definitely be.
I guess I did more than my share of that, but my hearing is actually thankfully still pretty good. I can still hear pretty high frequencies.
Mine's pretty good too. I'm very grateful to that. That's something I'm not looking forward to. Let's see. Boreal chickadee is also possible. So let's just take a look at what this species looks like, and I'll bring it up on the other thing as well. So let's bring that down. Geez, I'm going to need like a third
we need to come up with names. We need to come up with word to describe chickadee call, and I will not accept cheeseburger as
chickadee. There you go.
No, see, that's not what I'm looking for. It's like, what's something that actually describes those long notes? It's not. They weren't lasers. They're just solid notes.
They're solid notes, and that's the way I like to describe them. They are like they're singing. They do sound like they're actually singing. You could whistle. They're whistles. That's probably the best, because you could whistle. See,
that's a usable term here.
You could mimic them.
Think of that as
You could whistle and mimic them totally. People could do that. So we'll bring up the boreal chickadee is so neat. These are in Ontario. Like if I drive for 4 or 5 hours, I could get one. I have had one in my life. I think. They're a bit of a thing to chase. Has to be kind of in the winter for us. But they got the brown cap on their head. Oh, that's an interesting... is that really a song?
That's not a whistle at all.
This is listed as a song, which is... That surprises me. Let's grab another song. I guess so. Yeah, they just have different variations. So, this is very squeaky. Would you agree with that?
Sure.
Squeaky whistly.
Yes.
This actually reminds me of the rusty blackbird, which does this kind of thing. Which I always say
So
they sound like rusty
Green Herring
gates.
just said exactly the same thing.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm like,
That is weird. Yeah, they do set jinx. Yeah. So rusty blackbirds, I always regard them as being like rusty gates. You could imagine like opening and closing a creaking gate and getting that kind of sound out of it.
And you know, I guess I can hear and see the whistle parts in there, but there's so much more to it than that. It's not like I would describe it as a whistling.
Yeah.
Sound.
I wonder what kind of evolutionary pressure caused them to not have this long note going on. And even that's kind of almost a combination of a little bit of whistle, a little bit of chatter, chickadee-ish sound. Because, you know, they're infamous for their call, chickadee-dee-dee kind of thing. Let's hear the chickadee-dee-dee. See, they're a lot more not buzzy. That's the right term.
Well, they are buzzy.
They're buzzy, but it's a blurry buzz. It's a squeak.
Squeak.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're more squeaky. Look at how many overtones they have, like harmonics.
Oh, yeah.
Because if you compare that to the black cap chickadee, I bet you there's less harmonics on there. They're very squeaky. It reminds me of the voice of the gnatcatcher. I don't know if you have out there the blue-gray gnatcatcher, which is one that...
If we do, don't know what it sounds like.
Is gnatcatcher on this list? It is not. They're an eastern bird then, I guess. Let's go take a look over here. Can I look by... If I just type in... Oops. Page doesn't exist. Okay, we'll just browse through here. We'll find the gnatcatcher just to give you a reference. Wait, species. BGGN. Blue-gray gnatcatcher. They're also a tiny bird. They're also a mimic, believe it or not, even though they have a super squeaky voice and nobody would ever be fooled. Basically, when they mimic, they do sound like chickadees mimicking something.
Yeah, look at all those overtones there, too.
Yep. I wonder if they have any mimicry songs in here.
Yeah, I see what you mean about it being reminiscent.
There's some mimicry. Let's go with the rhythm.
Yeah.
The mnemonic for them is often bees, 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 because they sound... I don't know why that is, but that sounds kind of squeaky. Maybe not with this song. Maybe more with this. Bees, bees.
I can believe that as bees.
All right.
Yeah, that's very buzzy.
What else is on our target species list? And I got to remember to update that other thing. Let's see. We're in July in Banff.
Now, are you likely to see any hummingbirds?
Have we looked at yellow rump warbler? I know that's not going to be new to me, but I know you get them on stream, right?
We have seen them a couple of times.
And,
you know, they're not common birds, but we have seen them.
Okay, we will bring that up here just because there is an interesting thing to talk about with them. If I can get this to work. Why are you not pinching correctly? Let me see if I can get it to reset itself. There we go. All right, yellow rump warbler. So do you know much about yellow rump warbler in terms of its complex status as a species. Its
I
tenuous
sure don't.
status.
No. Like I said,
Okay.
it's a bird that I only see it rarely and only recognize it when it's flying away.
Oh, I
so.
see. I wasn't signed in. That's why. So I'll sign in and we'll be able to see this better. Okay. So you look at this range here, which actually you can't see on that screen. I'm going to actually switch over here. First, bring this up so people can see the bird. For some reason, it's not doing the thing right. It has stopped recognizing my ability to zoom in on this screen. I don't know why. But I'll just blow it up. Yeah, that didn't work. Well, that's close. People can see it, kind of. Let's, yeah, here we go. So you see this bird, yellow rump warbler. Notice, okay, this first photo we're looking at. Look at the yellow on the top of the head. It's like a stripe. A little bit of yellow here, of course, the yellow rump. Bit of a mask. Look at this next one. Yellow's on the chin. Maybe a little bit there. Not as much of a mask. And look at this one. He's black.
See, I wouldn't call that doesn't even look like the same species of bird at all.
And then look at this one. So you can tell there's something going on here, right? So if we were to go back, say, to the 40s, 50s in birding, these would have been considered 4 different species, basically. And they are probably on the verge of being split back into several different species again, for being honest. At least I think that. I'm going to bring up Birds of the World here so we can look at it from that perspective for a moment here. This is a good bird, maybe end our thing on, since we want to keep to about an hour here. So subspecies, I'll click on that. And let's see what it says here. So myrtle. So this used to be called the myrtle warbler. This was the eastern one. And then Audubons. This is your kind of classic western one. And then West Mexico is another one. And Goldman's, which I think is a southern one. I'm not 100% actually sure. But I believe the one you get locally is actually Audubon's warbler, which was merged into this complex known now as yellow rump warbler, because the only thing they share between each other is that they're warblers and they have a yellow rump. That's it.
Okay.
So Audubon's warbler, I'm actually likely to see there, which will be new to me, because I'm used to myrtle warbler.
The other subspecies.
The other
warblers.
subspecies, which give us a couple of years and it might actually be another species again, because the people who determine this are starting to find that genetic data is showing that there is kind of maybe a hard line that could be argued about the species, especially considering they look different to some extent. But there is hybrid zones and all that.
They sure do look very different, right? But
Yeah.
then don't get me started on dark-eyed juncos.
Yeah, so they got like a junco thing going on. It's a lot like the junco situation with Oregon junco and slate colored, except that the genetic data is saying that maybe they should be separate. So here's the myrtle.
Right.
This is what we're used to kind of locally, which actually has a lot of different songs, I would say. So what do you think of that song?
That's pretty and melodic. That sounds like, like more like a Finch's song to me.
Yeah, and we'll go to another myrtle.
I guess
here.
it's more repetitive than a Finch.
So there's one thing common with these 2 songs we've heard so far. It's they kind of do a tiddle tiddle tiddle, something like that, and then like it goes a certain speed and then it slows down and gets a little lazier for the second part. And a little quieter. That one less so. So that one's a little cut off, maybe. Let's see what this one. This is fading in and out. They're all over the place, these guys. So sometimes they'll go a little slower after they're... It's not really a trill. It's not fast enough to be a trill.
No, I wouldn't call it a trill. It's certainly not a laser either.
No.
I mean, I almost want to just call that a warbling.
It's a warble.
Maybe
there you go.
Maybe I'm being lazy with my mnemonics.
I don't know why, like, my brain didn't go, oh yeah, it's a warble. Like, obviously. So let's see what the Audubon sounds like. This is what would be local to you. It's not that different.
I certainly hear that same sound.
Yeah. That's a lot like the very
And
first
you
one.
can see it too. It looks the same. The
Yep.
spectrogram has got this U, repeated U's
Yep.
or V's.
So it's two distinct sections to that one, but it didn't actually slow down in this example. And it actually went up in pitch a little bit. Let's try another one. Oh, a little tutui at the end there, a little extra thing.
And that one's buzzier too, but it's sure got the same warble.
So it's like a third section to this song in this one. Yeah, these guys, I've always thought of them as kind of lazy sounding always.
Because of the way they trail off.
Yeah. And they're never 100% consistent in their trills. Like if you were to take a metronome to them, they would not be like winning any prizes at the, concert band, adjudications.
They're casual. Let's call it casual.
Yeah.
They're not lazy.
Yeah.
They're just casual.
So if you were to set a metronome to that, they're all
it's
over
the
the place.
CaliforniaBirbs of bird calls.
Yep. The shade. There you go. Chirp calls. What's funny is, you would think something like chirp and tink calls, which are shown here, are like, oh yeah, you can't memorize those. But you know what? The myrtle one, I actually do know the chip call really well, and there's a good reason for it. So let's hear that. So how would you describe this, by the way?
Like a tick.
Yep.
To me, that's ticking.
So I don't know why I call it this, but like a dry tick. Does that make sense?
Sure, yeah.
Because there's not much reverberation, it doesn't carry on. So the only reason I know that one is this is the only warbler that regularly winters in southern Ontario. Not very many of them. They probably can count them on your hand, the number that are within 50 kilometers of me in the winter. But a few do. They're real hardy, super, super hardy.
That's a pretty distinctive sound.
And this is the sound they make in the winter.
Pretty distinctive.
This is the sound they make in the winter. Is if I hear that chip, I know I've got a warbler in the winter, which is really exciting. And a really hardy warbler at that.
I almost want to think that Catbird Kate has referenced this sound to me, and I wasn't sure I understood what she meant, but now I think I do.
Yeah, I'm wondering if
I don't think we have a bird that makes a sound like that.
I wonder if Audubon's does that. They're a little higher pitched. Interesting. I can see how it's similar, but it's different.
We don't have a common bird that sounds like that.
I wouldn't have recognized that as a yellow rump if I heard this. I wouldn't know what it was. That's interesting that even chip call. Like, what's the Goldman's sound like? Let's listen to Goldman's. Yeah, that's different too. Huh.
See, those all sound about the same to me. That's like
and I could
just that.
It's a chip.
Dry chip.
And to me, it's just more that I've gone several winters listening for that one specific call, and it's just a trained ear in my case. But yeah, because especially for bird counts and stuff like that, we're doing Christmas bird count or a winter bird count, fall bird count as well. I always want to get this bird on my list.
The only bird I can think of that I have commonly here that sounds like that is the California towhee, and it's much more than just a chip. I mean, it's an actual chirp.
Yeah.
But just the fact that it's that single note and then a long pause, single note, long pause.
All right, maybe we'll do just one more because, I want to see. Here's one that I don't know off the top of my head. We do get them locally, but we don't get them breeding here. We get them locally on migration only. I believe you get them out there sometimes. The Lincoln Sparrow? I don't know if you get them on stream, though. Let me see if it's on my list.
Did we get a Lincoln Sparrow once? No, it was Lark Sparrow.
Lark Sparrow, okay. A very nice looking bird. Actually, is there something else on this list? Oh, you know what I've been missing, and maybe we should... Do you ever get wrens? around your feeder?
Yes.
What do
We
you
have the-
get?
We get the, well, I shouldn't say we get them, but
Yeah.
I've seen and taken photographs of the Bewick's wren.
Oh. Yeah, I don't know that one would be
At least
it.
I think that's the one I'm seeing.
So here's just something interesting. First I'll check if Bewick's even shows up on here. I don't think it would be on this list. No. But have you heard it sing before?
I don't know if I have.
Okay. We're gonna grab recordings. I'm gonna put this
these
in
ones
the
that
other
that I
window.
don't see on the regular. If it's a rare bird, I may or may not have any idea whether I've heard it sing.
Yeah. That won't let me zoom in anymore for some reason. All right, here we go. Wow, that's different.
Wow. What a racket.
Where is this one recorded? Snake River, Colorado. Okay. What do we call this? It's good, very thin, then buzzy, then like this kind of warble trill.
Yeah, it's got like everything. It's
They're
doing all
everything.
the things.
Yeah. Wow, look at all this. This is complicated, this song.
It's consistent though. It's not like it's just a bunch of random hodgepodge. It's the same.
Yeah. So
And that thing at the end, the note, the beep 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 at the end. That's distinctive.
Yeah.
That's the thing that doesn't sound like other birds.
That does stand out to me. Let's do one more example to see if that's just that bird or... Oh, this is a call. I don't think that's a full song.
LNS catalog number
Ooh, an LNS. It's the first one
191106.
somehow. So yeah, maybe it's not always doing that.
Huh.
Which lines up with, I think its close relative, the Carolina wren, is also quite varied. Yeah. You can hear a tufted titmouse in the background here. Oh, that's neat. So
Yeah, I don't even know how to describe that.
So locally,
Sequence
we
of
get the
noises.
Carolina wren, which looks nearly identical. I mean, they're not identical, but they're close. It sounds like this. So that's one of the teapot calls, or they have this kind of song.
Quite different.
Yep. They have a lot of different songs they can do. But they look nearly the same.
Wow.
A lot more like...
There's a commonality there. But none of them was anything like that Bewick's wren.
Yep. This one sounds something more like you could try to mimic with your own voice. Whereas the other, you just have no chance.
Right.
It's a bit more
Break
notes
out
in
your
this.
laser pistols.
Yep. But the thing I'm looking forward to potentially hearing, hopefully I get to hear it, is Pacific wren. So locally we get the winter wren, which is the kind of eastern species, and Pacific wren is the western species. And this is a complicated, this is another one where the border between species is kind of like, I don't know.
NS catalog number
Another catalog.
42201.
This is a good one to end on because look how complicated the song is. Have you ever heard this before?
Yeah. No, that's wild.
That's a single instance of a song there. Let's see how long that was. That was from the 16 second marker to the 23. So that was an 8-second song there. This one's 26 to 32, so 7-second. I've heard
Really a
longer
lot of
before.
different components.
Yeah.
It's like it sounds like it's the same bird through the whole time, but
Yep.
there's a lot of variation there.
It's a tiny bird with a huge voice. So this is to give you an idea of why I say species is kind of tenuous on this one. It looks similar to the winter wren, Also sounds similar to the winter wren.
LNS catalog number 100872.
So I noticed right away this is higher pitched. The other ones we heard were a little lower.
Really similar, though.
Yep.
Similar structure and cadence and speed.
Now let me show you something that'll like make you go, what? I think it's referred to here as common wren. No? Is it just wren? I've got to figure out what it is. It Eurasian? Like that? Yeah, Eurasian wren. Now let's listen to the Eurasian wren. It's going to take its time to load. So they ramble on. Same kind of thing. Let's see if we can find another long one here. And they also look the same.
And I can hear, I can hear the similarity there.
Yeah. So definitely in the early days of ornithology, this would have been considered just the same species all around the world, basically. It's what they would kind of call a whole Arctic species. Because there's kind of like... This is one thing I don't know much about them, whether there's a hybrid zone for winter wren and Pacific wren or not, and where the boundary exactly is. There certainly isn't a hybrid zone for Eurasian wren, and either Pacific or winter.
Middle of the Atlantic Ocean.
Yeah, it'd be like Iceland or something, I guess. Greenland. But I find it just fascinating how similar they have their songs. They look similar. Yeah.
Sure do have a complex and beautiful song.
Yep. So,
well, next time I see the Bewick's wren here, I'm going to more carefully listen and see if I can pick up any song from it.
Yeah.
I can't even remember what time of year they appear here.
Actually, I'll get this URL so it's up on this bigger screen for people in the stream. Here's what the Pacific wren looks like. And you want to... Here's the exact same bird, practically the winter wren.
Oh, geez. Right. They flipped the photo and called it a different bird.
It's just it's just a Pacific wren facing the other direction is really all it is.
Yeah.
And here's the Eurasian wren.
Yeah.
Which is the original nominate species. This, if you get a really old book, it's just called wren. That's it. Mm-hmm. This is Troglodytes. The original wren. So yeah. It's
very neat.
Very neat
Good
and fun
stuff.
to go through this.
Well, I'm exhausted, Rob, so I'm ready to wrap it up.
Yeah, so
I'll let you continue on if you want, but I'm
no, I think I'm
over.
good. I definitely need some rest as well. So make sure there isn't anything in chat we're missing in terms of questions or whatever. Thanks, everybody. Carolina Wren's a fave. Yeah, so Carolina Wren's one of the ones I think I mentioned last time that like the first song I had to seek out to figure out what that bird was when it showed up. Let's set up a raid. We're gonna go raid CaliforniaBirbs and see what he's doing. So yeah, we're gonna raid out to CaliforniaBirbs' channel. Thanks, everyone.
I think I've been to that channel once or twice. It's all right.
Dan, thanks for the resub, CaliforniaBirbs.
You're welcome, my friend. Thanks for having me. It's been a treat.
So I'm looking forward to seeing what I get recorded, and maybe sometime we'll take a look at that, and maybe I'll get your reaction from what you think.
And
things I've gotten.
When are you leaving?
So I'm
1
leaving
week
Monday.
from now?
Oh, it's Monday, and I'm going to be back.
Oh, just a few days from now.
Yeah, just a few days from now. So the next time I'll, if we were to do this again, it'll probably be in a couple weeks, I would say, or 3 weeks or something like that. Depends how much time it takes me to get through my stuff. So.
And, well, you'll need more time than that to prepare recordings and stuff, right?
Maybe it really depends. So, yeah. All right, cool. We're gonna set out the raid. Thanks, everybody. Yeah, that was really fun. Thanks again, Kamal. Always a pleasure.
It's my pleasure, Rob.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks, everybody.
See y'all later, friends.
See y'all over at CaliforniaBirbs stream.